Welcome back to Gibbo MMA. We are going to review UFC Vegas 115 and also preview UFC 327. Recording here on a Monday. Happy Easter Monday, public holiday here in Australia. But yeah, guys, let's get straight into it. Manny Moicano submits Chris Duncan. Really made it look easy. I don't know what it is with Renato Moicano, but when he fights guys from ranked, sort of 12 and then just outside of the rankings and lightweight, man, he looks like a world champion. But as you saw when he fought Islam, he got plowed through. But yeah, he's back in the win column. Chris Duncan, I really like him as a fighter. He's been one of my low-key favorite fighters of recent, and because he's entertaining, he gets into brawls, but he ends up losing. But we'll be seeing him again. When you're fighting, no matter if you win or lose, if you're entertaining, hey, I'm all there for you. I love that. I'm not like, as soon as someone loses, I don't jump off that bandwagon. I like to tune in for fighters, whether they win or lose, because if they're entertaining, I'm there. Like, we've got Dominic Reyes versus Johnny Walker this weekend coming. That's one of my favorite fights I'm looking forward to, because they're just both entertaining, whether they win or lose. So, in Vegas 115, it wasn't highly touted. Just another Apex card. Not a whole lot of, there was 4 ranked fighters on there. Not a whole lot of big names, but we got a couple of young up-and-comers to look forward to. We've got Ethan Ewing. What a performance. He didn't get the bonus. I thought that was probably the best performance of the night. He gets that hook to the liver. We had a couple of liver finishes. Incredible to see. Good to see fighters mixing it to the body. Because you see a lot of people just headhunt. Estevam, I think his chin is made out of granite. And Ewing eventually, got the rip to the body and then just folded him like a deck chair. And that's what you got to do. Mix it up, go to the body. No matter who you are, no matter what chin you got, the body shot will humble you very fast. And Ethan Ewing, he's 10-2. He came in on short notice against Malcolm Wellmaker, who's another highly touted up-and-coming prospect at the bantamweight division. He beats him by decision at the Madison Square Garden card. And then he gets his second fight in the UFC against a tough guy like Estevam. Estevam took crazy damage and just kept walking forward. But Ethan Ewing, man, this guy is so skilled. Construction is a construction worker. That could be the best space for MMA. I'm on a journey right now trying to find the best space for MMA right now. Rugby union, rugby league, that's probably up there as what I think could be the best space for MMA. I've chatted to an AFL guy. That could be up there too, Aussie rules. But construction work, this could be the new best space for MMA, because Ethan Ewing, man, this guy is incredibly good. He could be a future champ at the bantamweight division. He's so skilled, great striking. I noted down he reminded me of Volkanovski a little bit. And when I say that, it's same sort of body type, short, stocky, but technical striking, really great. And what I emphasize and give flowers to a lot with Volk is, how does a shorter guy outstrike taller, longer fighters? And that's what we're starting to see here with Ethan Ewing. He's outstriking these guys. He knows how to use his body. And he gets the finish here. I think he was hard done by not getting a 100k bonus. Yes, he gets the 25k for the finish. But I'm looking forward to seeing him in his next fight. I think he'll get a tougher opponent. And I think he'll start to climb these rankings really fast. Co-main, Tabitha Ricci loses via decision against Jandiroba. Not much to review there, to be honest. Abdul gets the submission rear naked over Ribeiro. Great to see people going to the ground and looking for a finish. looking for a submission, or looking to ground and pound and finish the fight. Like, because a lot of the casual people, when as soon as it goes to the ground, they instantly just like, there's boos, a lot of complaining. Rightly so, because it's not entertaining when people aren't trying to instantly and being aggressive on the ground. And Abdul instantly was going for that finish. He didn't waste any time, and he gets it. And I like to see that. Tommy McMillan and Zankini gets fight of the night. It only went one round. It was a good fight. It went for 3 minutes, 4 minutes. A bit reckless. Tommy goes 10-0. He's out of the Sean O'Malley camp. Lots to work on. He looks obviously marketable, but I think once he gets some tougher opponents, I think he'll probably get finished. Lots to develop. I think he's like 30 years old. But I thought Ethan Ewing definitely should have got a performance bonus. I think they should have just done 4 performance bonuses instead of giving that fight of the night. And the other liver shot, Alessandro Costa gets the liver shot over Stuart Nickel. Man, I don't know. I'm sick for a liver shot. It's like the most crisp, satisfying thing to watch, and I can't imagine landing it, because that is the ultimate checkmate, that liver shot. Because when you go for body shots, you're exposing yourself a lot, because your hands are down. Sometimes if you're really ripping into it, your chin can kind of get isolated and exposed. So when it lands, that's probably my favorite shot to finish someone, to see. And we got that twice on this card. So yeah, as I said, this card wasn't highly touted. No one was really looking forward to it, but it definitely over exceeded expectations. So well done to Costa. Elise Pereira, Costa gets a performance bonus. Elise Pereira gets a finish performance bonus as well. Second round knee to the face. I mean, a knee, wouldn't be surprised if Cowan's jaw's broken, because, Pereira, bantamweight division, a bit reckless. She marches forward. She's looking to do damage, which is great. Got taken down for a bit in the second round. Was aggressive fighting off her back, but needs to get back up to the feet a bit quicker, because when she did, she got the finish. And then I'll just finish off with the most controversial, probably the biggest talking point, was the Barbosa versus Melissa Gato fight with the soccer kick. And then, Barbosa gets the majority decision, even after getting a point taken. And I think this is a pretty simple opinion. I think you might agree. If not, all good. But Melissa Gato, her corner might need to be fired. I think this is a pretty straightforward decision here to go. It looks as though she was knocked out. Some people say she put a bit of mayo on it, but she got illegally soccer kicked. It changed the fight dramatically. She was on her back, looked to have been knocked out for a second. And she easily should have won by disqualification. She should have came out of there with the win, because Barbosa illegally struck her. Brutal soccer kick. And if you say, it wasn't intentional, it's like she started the foul. Gato was grounded, was a grounded opponent. She was going back to her feet, but the soccer kick started while she was a grounded opponent, and it hit while she was just still grounded, because they tried to do a split second of was her knee just off the ground. But I believe the referee's discretion also comes into place here, and it's she was gonna land that kick if she was still if she was still fully grounded. I believe she was still grounded. It was a split moment where it was a bit simultaneous, but she's intentionally committing a foul while she's grounded. She's following through. She started that kick while she's a grounded opponent. And that's a big foul in my eyes. dramatically changed the fight, and she got given more than 5 minutes, and because it went over 5 minutes, apparently by the rules, like the fight should have stopped as well. So referee Chris Tyongi, I believe it was, and the corner. I mean, what is doing in this sport with our referees? Like they had so much time, so much footage to go, and you could see what happened. Clear disqualification, and when he took 1 point, he can take 2 points because of how dramatic the foul was. And yeah, if I'm Gatto, I mean, she fought through. Well done to her, but there's a clear path to victory here. You got fouled really badly, illegally struck. You got to pull the Aljamain Sterling. You got to pull the Aljamain Sterling here. You can't continue to fight because she ended up losing. She doesn't get her win bonus. And Barbosa, I'd be buying a lottery ticket today if I was Dion Barbosa. That was a bit of daylight robbery there, but I think it's just stupidity from Gato's corner. And yeah, I'm pretty disappointed in the referee in that situation there. Should have taken 2 points at least. Yeah. And this is why, when I give my opinion and when others, because, fighters, they're the ones in there fighting. They are a lot more knowledgeable in all that X's and O's and everything, coaches and all that. But as people who watch it, you could say we watch more fights and outcomes than some of these coaches. They're watching tape and on specific fighters, but as far as like the whole storyline of and outcomes and of fights, like myself and other people who watch the sport and do MMA YouTube or whatever, we've seen this story carry out 1,000 times. We see the path to victory here, what path should happen. Like we watched this so much, and it was pretty clear. Like Gatto, you stay down, you say you can't continue, you go out there with the win. And her coaches should have conveyed that to her and should have made that decision for her. And they didn't. And that's why I'm like, if I'm Gatto, I'd be going, I'm telling my team, give me one good reason why you should still be my coaches, why I shouldn't leave this gym. Because that was some low IQ moment there from her team, because that was not in the best interest for her to get the win and for her safety. So pretty disappointing to see right there, because someone who watches a lot of fights and outcomes and seen a lot of situations like this and what the rules are, what I know, still learning, but she should have came out there with the disqualification win. Barbosa should have been disqualified. But let me know your thoughts, guys. Comment below if you agree or what your take is on this Melissa Gatto situation. But she should have come out there with a win. The fact that she's come out there with a loss after getting brutally, she got the Ronaldo soccer kick to the face and still lost. Just diabolical right there. But that's UFC Vegas 115. Biggest outtake for me is this situation and moving forward to learn from of what not to do in that situation, because we definitely saw what not to do is what she did, and her team decided to continue on with this fight, and also the referee. And we got to see, some great liver shots, and Ethan Ewing, he's on my prospect watch. He could definitely be a future champ. He's really skilled. And Moicano's still got it, ranked 10. He's at the end of sort of his career. Chris Duncan, he'll be back. He's entertaining. You can put him anywhere on any card, and he's going to be entertaining. He was on a 4-fight win streak coming up to this, but he'll be back. And let's go. On to UFC 327, Yuri Prochazka versus Carlos Ulberg. Let's preview this main event and card. Yuri Prochazka, one of my favorite fighters, probably my favorite fighter, and also just who he is, the personality, the last samurai, just entertaining. This guy has never been in a boring fight. He's a former light heavyweight champ. When he beat Glover Teixeira, then he had to vacate it because he did his shoulder. And this belt is for the vacant UFC light heavyweight championship because Alex Pereira has vacated it and is moving up to heavyweight to fight for an interim belt at the White House against Cyril Gane. In Carlos Ulberg, he gets his first ever title shot. He's 13-1, 9-fight win streak. He lost his UFC debut against Kennedy Nzechukwu, probably butchered that. But he's come off the win against Dominic Reyes in Perth, the round 1 jab right cross victory. I was really hoping to see Dominic Reyes win that because, the storyline of him losing the robbery to John Jones and then going on like a 3-4 fight knockout losing streak. And then he went on this great win streak, and then Carlos Ulberg just stopped him in his tracks. And as you know, Ulberg fights out of City Kickboxing with the Adesanya camp. And before this fight, he fought that very boring decision, controversial win over Jan Blachowicz at UFC London in 2025. So this is going to be a good stand-up matchup. It's going to be good because these guys aren't known wrestlers and grapplers. They like to keep it on the feet. And Yuri Prochazka, his only loss in the UFC, his only losses in the UFC is to Shama, Alex Polton Pereira, which seems to be obviously his kryptonite because everyone else he's beaten. There's 2 losses in the UFC against Pereira, and he's on a 2-fight win streak. Beat Jamal Hill, awesome fight. Got the comeback win against Khalil Roundtree Jr., where he was down 2 rounds and then finishes him in the 3rd round. He got fight of the night and a performance bonus for that fight. And that was on the UFC 320 Ankalaev Pereira 2 fight card. Who I think will win in this? I got to go with my boy Yuri. I'm a fan. I know I'm Australian, New Zealand. It'd be good to see Carlos win, but man, Yuri, this guy is just he's a promoter's dream, Yuri Prochazka. He'd be probably one of my number 1 signings if I was to start a promotion, or if I was a promoter, I'd be going, let me get this Yuri Prochazka guy, free solo climbing in Mexico and just, filming it. He's an interesting character. He's as real as it gets. There's no facade. There's no put on. He's only 33 years old. Like, if he's been fighting for so long, comes from a kickboxing background. I believe was it kickboxing. I don't know, but he's from Czech Republic. He's fought in all those weird European promotions. He came from then, and then he went to Ryzen, and then he got signed to the UFC in 2020. He's got that famous spinning back elbow knockout over Dominic Reyes. But this fight, Ulberg, he's sharp on the feet. He could very much check hook, like Pereira, or head kick, like Pereira did to Yuri Prochazka. So, it's going to be entertaining. I think I'm going to go for Yuri, but Carlos Ulberg could definitely win this by knockout. But I feel like he's been, like he pulled the trigger against Dom Reyes, but some other fights he seems a bit flat sometimes and doesn't get as aggressive as he should be. And Yuri Prochazka, if he can keep his hands up and do his movement, I think he could get Carlos Ulberg out of there in, the third or fourth round in the later rounds. Get Carlos Ulberg deep, because I don't think Carlos Ulberg has ever been. He's been scheduled for 5 rounds, but I don't think he's ever gone 5 rounds before. I don't think he's gone 5 rounds before in the UFC alone. So, be interesting to see if Yuri will want to start a bit slow. But again, Yuri just loves to get in there and get going. But that's my main event take. I think Yuri Prochazka, maybe a round 4 TKO. I think it'd be a back and forth crazy fight, just like any Yuri fight is. Co-main was originally for the flyweight belt, Joshua Van versus Tatsudo Taira, but they've rescheduled that to next month for the Hamzat Strickland card. I think it's from Van's side, maybe a bit of a hamstring tweak, so they've just moved that. So the new co-main is undefeated Azamat Murzakanov versus Paulo Costa. Costa moving up to light heavyweight for this bout. This is a tough fight for him. He's versing a low-key, unknown, undefeated Russian who knocks people out. Azamat Murzakanov isn't your traditional, lay on your grapple, suffocate you. This guy is a knockout artist. 16-0. He's got 6-0 in the UFC. He's on a 3-fight knockout streak. He's only got 1 decision in the UFC. So 5 out of his 6 fights in the UFC is ended by knockout. His last fight against Rakic literally knocked him out with a jab, a power jab, just stiff armed him, bang. So Paulo Costa, Mr. Inactivity. It's been almost a year since he's fought against Roman Kopylov, where he got that win, and he looked great. He looked great, but I think light heavyweight will probably be where he will stay at. So tough fight to move up to in this division against an undefeated Russian who's a knockout artist. So I'm going with Murzakanov in this fight. Now, Josh Hockett versus Curtis Blades. Do you know Josh Hockett? Pretty new to the UFC, but he's real loud and bit of WWE about him. I was a bit surprised by this matchup because Josh Hockett's not even ranked, and as you know, Curtis Blades being a top 6, top 7 heavyweight for half a decade or so. So this could be make or break a bit. This could be is it too early for Josh Hockett? Yeah, he's not even ranked in the heavyweight division. Curtis Blades is ranked number 5. And as you know, he's got good wrestling. Hockett's got pretty good wrestling, but Hockett, he is aggressive and has good knockout, goes for the knockout. So that'll be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if Hockett wins, but Curtis Blades ain't no joke. So I'm going to have to go with Curtis Blades here. Now, probably the second fight I'm looking forward to most out of the main event is Dominic Reyes versus Johnny Walker. Entertaining whether they win or lose. Johnny Walker, probably one of the most cartoonish fighters of all time. This really is going to go one way. One of them are going to cartoonishly get knocked out. I think Dominic Reyes will win because he's been looking real sharp until that Ulberg fight. But Johnny Walker, man, he got that upset win over in Shanghai last year. And he was an underdog. He was versing Minyang Zhang and knocked him out in the second round. So this is going to be a fun fight. Don't blink. But I think Dominic Reyes will win it. This card is, and that's the main. Oh no, we got one more fight on the main card. But there's some good matchups on this fight card. It's good from top to bottom. And to round out the main card is Cub Swanson, this is his last fight in the UFC. He'll be fighting Nate Landwehr. So good matchup. Cub Swanson, absolute veteran. He's 30-14. He's been in the featherweight. He's 42 years old, man. He's 15-10 in the UFC. Like, he made his debut back in 2011, and he was formerly, before that he was in the WEC, where we would have seen where he would have been a lot more in his prime. Like, he's got wins over Charles Oliveira, Kron Gracie. Oh, that was grappling. Hold up. Topology. But it's unselect grappling. Like, he was on a 1, 2, 3, wins over Dustin Poirier, Dennis Silva, Jeremy Stevens. Like, he was on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fight win streak in the UFC. And then he lost to Frankie Edgar and then Max Holloway. And then went on another 4 fight win streak. I think I remember seeing him maybe on a podcast, maybe it was a Jackson podcast, saying Conor McGregor kind of stole his title shot because, in June of 2014, he's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fight win streak in the featherweight division. And I think he was really calling for that Aldo fight. But then he fights Frankie, then Max, and loses. But I just started watching this MMA drama show called Kingdom with Frank Grillo. Came out in 2015. Just watched a couple episodes of that, and Cub Swanson's in it. So it was first released in 2015, so I assume it would have been filmed, 2014, when he was in it, right in the prime of his win streak. And I think it's Nick Jonas, one of the Jonas brothers, is in it. And he has to fight. It's a really good show. I recommend it. And he's in there and he has to fight Nick Jonas. And spoiler alert, he loses. And I'm like, you got this guy in his prime shape, physical fighting shape. And I just want to make sure it's Nick Jonas. And you can clearly see who's the real. Cub Swanson's like, yeah, this guy would beat him up. Nick Jonas, he's in actor-ready shape. But, I couldn't believe. I'm like, how are they going to do Cub Swanson like that? It's on Amazon here in Australia. But yeah, it's like highly rated. It's got like 8.5. It's like 8.5 out of 10 IMDb rating. And I'm like 3 episodes in and it's great. Yeah, Nick Jonas. Bro, they do Cub Swanson so dirty. I think that could have been the downfall of his career, was having to lose to Nick Jonas in that TV show. So I don't know if he fights him again in it. I'll have to find out. But yeah, so Cub Swanson, last fight in the UFC, will be retiring. He's 42. Had a great career. And then we got the feature prelim, the Bellator fight. Bro, this is like the funniest thing they've done with, like, Hunter Campbell's done. Signed Bellator guys and we're like, well, we'll just put on a Bellator fight. We've got Patricio Pitbull versus Aaron Pico. Aaron Pico, this will be his first fight since getting spinning elbowed to the moon and back by Lorraine Murphy. And Patricio Pitbull, I think he's coming off a win, against Dan Ige. So I think this might be a fight. Whoever wins gets to stay in the UFC, and whoever doesn't gets booted. I think Aaron Pico will win this one. He'll be looking to come back and get back in the win column and put that knockout behind him. And next fight, Kevin Holland, Randy Brown. This is going to be fun too. Both guys like to strike. I think Randy Brown will knock out Kevin Holland. But then again, Kevin Holland, he's up and he's down. He's there, he's not. I don't know. Who knows? But I think Randy Brown will knock him out. And then Matus Gamrot, coming off the Charles Oliveira loss, has been buried in the prelims here against Esteban Ribovic. This would be a good test for Ribovic. Ribovic, the Argentinian, great power, great boxer, coming up against, a grappler, wrestler like Matus Gamrot. So this would be a good test for Ribovic to test his ground game. Because if he can't defend these takedowns, Gamrot will win this. So I think Gamrot might come away with the win here if he doesn't get knocked out. And then, Tatiana Suarez, Lupi Godinez. I don't know, man. It's on the prelims. Suarez has, hasn't been the most fun to watch lately. So I'm going to I don't know if she's just going to allow Godinez for 3 rounds, probably. So I got her to win. And then Kelvin Gastelum versus Vicente Luque. I think both guys will. This could be fight of the night, to be honest. Both guys just slugging it out. If this is at welterweight, I think Kelvin Gastelum will miss weight again. Death taxes and Kelvin Gastelum missing weight. Because he missed it in his last fight. And he's had to pull out of fights. If this is at welterweight, I wouldn't be surprised if Gastelum just weighs in 5 over, takes the pay cut, and then, ends up winning. So that's going to be the washed MMA. That's a washed MMA fight right there. And then Radke versus Prado. This is a good fight too. These guys will be slugging it out. Prado, great power. He's a bit like it's got like the jaw of freaking Drew Dober. Reminds me of Drew Dober a bit. Francisco Prado, the Argentinian. So I think, be looking to knock out Charles Radke here. But that's UFC 327 happening this weekend. I'm pumped for this. I'm looking forward to it. Yuri Prohaska, every time he's in the octagon, it's fireworks. But yeah, man, another Monday, and we'll just round off with a bit of another news section. Jon Jones getting in a bit of a road rage altercation. Doesn't get into a fight, but boy, it's crazy to think if you know who Jon Jones is and he's pulling up to you like that, I'm getting back in the car and I'm driving for my life. Like the guy's the guy had the Ray-Ban meta glasses, whatever, videoing it. Go and watch it. It's all over the socials. Sounds like Jon Jones could have been in the wrong here, swerving into him a bit. But you don't want to get into a altercation like that with Jon Jones. Baddest man on the planet. Pound for pound, greatest fighter of all time. The GOAT. Mr. 12-6. Handled himself really well. I can't imagine what it's like being the guy who can beat up pretty much anyone on the planet. And someone's like a little chihuahua's barking at you and having to walk away like that. Man, he showed composure. He told the guy to relax, and then he just puts up the finger in his face and walks off. Instantly, he could have just, ended his life right there with his bare hands, but walked away. But for him to get into that situation, it looks like he must have been doing some bad driving and instigated it himself a bit. But then you go and you talk about why he's not on the White House card. And this is the reason. This is all a part of it. You can't trust him. Can't trust Jon Jones out there, and he's not reliable anymore to show up for these fights. You've seen it early in his career, testing positive for PEDs and this, that, the other. Although all the, off-field, we call it, incidents he gets into. If he was on that White House card, it's not as big a deal what's happened with this, but they'd be like, oh, you just can't be promoting, putting him on a big time fight card like a White House card that's going to be televised around the world. and it's going to be at the White House. You just can't put trust in John Jones because he's got himself in this situation. Nothing bad happened, but it's not a good look. And yeah, 100% agree with Dana White. Why he's just not on the White House. Chuck him on a pay-per-view. He had plenty of opportunities to fight Tom Aspinall and strung everyone along. So yeah, I don't even So yeah, I got nothing really, not much other thoughts about it than we already know what we know, and I'm not surprised, to be honest. But another Monday, guys. I'll be releasing this on Tuesday, so if anything crazy happens, it is what it is that I don't get to. But yeah, another Monday, being consistent in the MMA world of YouTube. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on that Melissa Gatto situation. Comment below your Prohaska prediction, and you and two-time world champion Yuri. I believe it will be. But we'll see you again next week to review it, guys. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll catch you later.